I never thought that I would say this, but I could not get out of that church fast enough. As faith is walking boldly into the unknown. You do not know why. You do not know why you're doing this thing, but you're doing it. You're just doing it. If you want to know why we said no to a co-op, let's do it. Welcome back to the latest installment of Pit Pack Adventures. I'm so glad you're here today. We are talking about all of the reasons why our family said no to a homeschool co-op this year. Just to be real, the Lord said no before we did, so there's that. First reason why we said no to co-op, and I've already kind of alluded to it, and it's pretty much the most important thing that you could get from this video, is that God said no before we did. So we have recently moved about 5 weeks ago to Missouri. I was super excited about coming to this area because homeschoolers are everywhere, and we come from an area where homeschooling is not the jam for a lot of people, and that's okay. So I was very excited to come to an area where there was a plethora of homeschoolers. We've never had a co-op before. I know all about co-ops. I know what they're about. I had this scheduled meeting with this co-op in our area, and I brought my 2 children that I am currently homeschooling with me. We went to this co-op meeting and everything, seemed fine, and then the meeting started, and immediately the Lord just laid it on my heart, and he was just so clear, and he was like, this is not where you need to be. And I couldn't understand it, because I was like, Lord, but I've been so excited about this, and for whatever reason, it was just very clear to me this was not the place that we needed to be. I could not get out of that place quick enough, and just to be authentic and open with you guys, this homeschool group met in a church. Now, they were not a Christian homeschool group. They were not a Christian co-op, but they met in a church. So just because you're in a church and you're meeting in a church does not mean that that is where the Lord would have you to be. It's very, very important that we listen to the promptings that he has placed on our hearts. I could not get out of that church fast enough. I never thought that I would say that. I immediately called my husband when we got back in the vehicle, and I was like, you know what, I just don't think this is going to work out for us. And he was like, well, what happened? And I kind of explained to him, and he was like, no, that's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. For whatever reason, we do not need to be a part of this co-op this year. And it might just be specific to our family. It may not be anything about the co-op itself and the families that are, part of it, the teachers that are teaching it, the organizers, the leaders. There's nothing wrong with it that I know of, but for us, it's just not the right fit. So if the Lord is telling you, hey, this year in the season that you're in, whatever season that may be for your family, if you have a very busy year ahead of you, if you have a baby on the way, if you have a move in front of you, if you have somebody you're having to take care of, if your children are just not in a place where they can leave for a day every week for the whole day, or they would be behind in their studies, whatever that looks like for you, it's okay to say no. It's okay for this season of your life to say no to something, whether that's co-op, whether that's extracurricular activities, whether that's play dates with friends, whatever that looks like, it's okay to say no, okay? So that's my first reason. The Lord said a firm no. Next reason, it felt too much like public school to me. So the idea of a co-op is that one day a week you go and you drop your kids off at whatever location that the co-op meets at. They do all of these enrichment activities with your children. They can have science classes, they can have history classes, they can have all kinds of just extracurriculars like dance, PE, art, crafts, just whatever your co-op offers. It's going to be different for each one. And they do this all day long at different intervals throughout the day. They eat lunch together, and then usually around 3-ish you go and you pick them back up. And that, I'm sorry, but that just sounds like public school. That sounds like traditional school. Now, I understand the premise behind it where, the socialization aspects of homeschoolers, they're meeting once a week, they're having their friends, they're having their time, they're learning all of these things, and it gives you as the mom a break. It gives you a break. It gives you one day a week where you can focus on whatever you need to focus on, whether that be your home and getting it back in order, doing a deep clean. If you work from home, it gives you a day to work. It gives you a day to go get the groceries and to stock your home, whatever that may be. It might just be a day where you veg out and eat in your bed and, you know, just have a little bit of me time, and that's okay too. We do deserve that time, mamas. But for me, it wouldn't be that. I'm not of the idea to drop my kids off for a whole day with a group of people that, number one, I do not know because we're new to the area. Number two, I do not trust because I have formed no relationships with any of these people. I do not know them from Adam. Number three, I don't know the children that my children are going to be next to all day long. And that's a big deal for me because so many kids are taught so many things that I don't want my kids to know at their age. Like, let them be children, let them have a childhood. Childhood should not be heavy, and too many children know too many things at this young of an age. And so I don't know what environment I'm going to be putting my kids in. I am not of the idea that I'm going to do that. I'm going to be right there with them throughout the day, from the time I drop them off to the time that they're supposed to be picked up. I'm going to be at whatever location that they are in. I will be the teacher's best helper. I will be working. I will be giving of my time, and that's okay. But for mamas, one of the big draws of a homeschool co-op is to have a day off. And for me, it wouldn't be a day off. Selfishly, it was a hard no because I would just rather be in my home doing school with my children, and I would be rather working that way and spending my time that way with them than having to do that once every week. The next thing is, I'm one of those mamas that knows exactly who my children are around at all times because, let's face it, there's a lot of people on this earth that you cannot trust, and I don't want to be kind of like a pessimistic person, but I am realistic, and I do know the dangers that are out there, and I know the statistics, and I've read the stories, and yes, it's everywhere. So I am not going to put my children at risk for adults that I do not know, and I'm not going to put my children at risk for children that I do not know. I want them to be around people who are good and true and beautiful and lovely and who love the Lord and have the best intentions for my children and for any child for that matter. And it takes time to realize if somebody is of that opinion or not. For me, it was just a no, okay? The next thing that I was like, okay, most co-ops have a period of time that you as the parent have to volunteer with their co-op. It can either be at their outings that they go to, their different homeschool field trips, or it can be weekly as a helper or whatever, lunch lady at this co-op, okay? So you have to put in a certain amount of hours if you want to belong to these co-ops. I would be there all the time. So I've already spoke on that. Like, I would be there anyway. It would just be something else to fill my plate that is already full. And if I could see that it would be an added benefit to my children, I would certainly do it. But I don't see enough benefit in it to load our plate even fuller. The added work, no. Okay. The one thing that I would say would be the next biggest thing about our reasons for no. And this is because we lead a very different life from most people. Like, we travel all the time. Like, we are on the go. If we are at home for 6 to 8 weeks at a time, that is a huge amount of time that we are home. Homeschool co-ops, you have to be there. You are obligated to be there once a week for all of these different classes. Now, you do have some co-ops that are like, no, you don't have to be there depending on what classes that you're taking. But let's face it, if you miss 2 to 3 weeks, you're gonna be behind. I don't want that for my children, and I don't want to be tied down to something that we have to be at every week, because I know our family, I know that we're going to be planning another trip, and I enjoy that flexibility and that spontaneity of our family, and we are not giving that up right now. Next thing that's a really big deal for a lot of families is the price of it. So it depends, co-ops can range from a broad spectrum of pricing, and it honestly depends on what you're doing at your co-op. If you have to buy curriculum materials, if you're actually taking a class like a science or something like that, it's going to be more expensive than if it's just more of like an enrichment activity for the whole day. It can get a bit pricey. I just don't see the benefit of doing that when I'm already doing all of the subjects with my children anyway. I would just rather use that money on something else that I've had my eye on that we could incorporate throughout our day. I would rather use that money elsewhere. I have so many reasons why I said no to this co-op. I'm just kind of telling you exactly how I feel. Next reason is I have gotten super just in my routine of not having to be somewhere. I'm not trying to be like mean or anything, but when I see these parents that have to get up every morning and get their kids ready and feed them breakfast and get their backpacks and either put them on the bus or drive them to school, I feel sorry for them, because we haven't done that, and we have never done that. And I remember when I used to have to do that when I was in public school, and it is a whole different life that we're giving our children, because they don't have a specific time that they have to wake up. They're usually up pretty early anyway, but like they don't have to get up at the crack of dawn to go somewhere. We are not obligated to be anywhere in our days. Like, we are obligated to start school by 9 o'clock, to do our morning time, do our lessons, do our family subjects, and then the rest of our day, we are free to do absolutely what we want. I am so blessed and so grateful, and my dog is like hawking up something right now. Do you need some water? Back at it. Whew. All right, Rosie girl is right next to me. She's listening to everything I'm saying, and I don't know why my camera keeps doing that. It keeps like blacking out on me. Don't do it. I'm so blessed and grateful that we get to do that with our family, that we do not have to be anywhere that we do not desire to be. I do not have somewhere that I have to be one day every week. Like, I don't have to do that. And for me, even saying that, it gives me a cringe, just a little cringe of anxiety. Are you okay? Because I don't want to have to do that. Moving along. Next reason, and I don't know if it'll be the last reason, but I do not want to give up the time that I have with my children. I just don't. The reason I signed up for homeschool was so that I could be with them every day, and so that I could be their teacher, their mother teacher, and I could lead them and disciple them and love on them, and yes, discipline them, and I could be that person in their life to do all of these things. So for me, having a 4th grader, a 1st grader, and a 3-year-old, I'm not ready to give up that role yet. Like, that is a very important role, and I take it very seriously. Now, maybe as our kids get older, maybe when they're in junior high, high school, that may be more important, but in this season of our life, I don't think that it will be, because we do so much with so many people, and we make friends wherever we go. So the socialization aspect is not anything that we worry about in our family. The enrichment activities that these co-ops provide, they're not a worry for us, because we do so much anyway. They just brought me a chai latte. These places are doing us no favors by being 10 minutes down the road. We have never had this before. We're used to driving such long distances to get things like this, so I am going to enjoy this. I should have prefaced this conversation, so I'm going to preface it now. If you are a mama and you have chosen a homeschool co-op for your family, do not think that my opinions are like gold, they're set in stone, that this is what has to be done, because it's not. If you have joined a homeschool co-op, and number 1, the Lord has given you peace about that, number 2, your kids are thriving, Number 3, you are thriving, and it's a good thing for your family because co-ops can be really good for so many families. It's just not for our family. So just because I say that we didn't join doesn't mean that you don't have to join, because they are a blessing to so many. If you are a family that doesn't travel as much as we do, this could be awesome for your family because it does give you a day out of the house every week. Take my thoughts and opinions for what they are, because my family is going to be very different from your family, and I don't want to ever influence you to do something. I just thought that I would share that because I know that there's got to be some mamas out there that feel strange or may feel very alone because they don't want to do co-op for their family. And for whatever your reasons are, your reasons could be very different from mine. But I wanted to share that today because I feel like co-ops are all the rage. And if a homeschool family chooses not to do one, that they might be labeled as weird, or, oh, they don't want to socialize their family. And that is so far from the truth. Like, these judgments against each other are just ridiculous. Okay, guys, well, that is going to be it for today. I hope that this video is a tad bit shorter than the ones that I normally do. And that will, I think we're planning on starting our new school year with our new schedule and all that, either the 2nd or 3rd week in September. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to show you guys what we're switching up this year. I've kind of had a bit of an epiphany with some of the things that we're going to be doing. And so be looking for that. I'm also going to do a video on our new schedule that we're going to be doing, and the planning and all of that I've been doing to set up our new school year. If you've already started your new school year, I pray that it has been a wonderful start to your new year. And I just thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe do the hype thing. I don't know about the hype thing. It's like a hype point. I'm not really sure how that works yet. I'm gonna have to look into that. Let me know also if you are part of a homeschool co-op, or if you have decided not to be, and what your experience has been. Has it been a good one or not? Let me know. All right, guys, bye.